We're recording.
Okay. Welcome everybody to the Web Dev Special Interest Group. Who's got stuff they want to talk about?
Well, you'd asked me in Slack last night about bug 24387, renaming the news tool. There's discussion on there about splitting news into like a news section and a HTML customization section, splitting it into two things that function similarly. But
would you mind repeating that bug number?
Yeah, 24387. You're actually copied on it too.
Okay, thank you.
But I'm sure you're copied on 5 billion bucks, so.
I filed a bug last night, which was the reason why I was asking you about that, Lisette, and this is bug 27722. Because I find this to be fairly annoying now, and it doesn't make very much sense anymore. I'm seeing tickets where people are going, what happened to my Koha search bar? It's gone. Because if you add a piece of news and add it to all sections, it replaces everything everywhere with that piece of content. Self-registration instructions, custom search bar,
Yep.
everything like that. So
OPAC main block, OPAC. Oh man, yeah.
yes, it goes absolutely everywhere. And when that used to be just for the slips and the librarian interface and the Koha news, that seemed to make some sense, but it no longer does, in my opinion. I think we should remove all selections.
Katrine, it looks like, suggested renaming it OPAC and staff interface, but we'd need to also make it work for just OPAC and staff interface then.
I would say that even if you split OPAC and staff, you still wouldn't want an all selection for the OPAC because nobody would want one piece of content to go to all those OPAC sections.
Right. I think she was thinking like OPAC news, staff news, the actual news blocks. Like if you wanted it on both sides there.
And that's why I asked for the other bug about renaming them.
Mm-hmm.
Heading in a similar direction.
I concur. I was looking at mine. I think I must have already taken away the all option because I don't see it, and I don't want people to do that anyways.
Yeah, you took it away with JavaScript.
Yeah.
Good idea.
But I also
me
agree.
and one other person actually use the news, so.
See, we have it set up where our libraries use it to put things on their slips. So like they can put story time hours and stuff like that. And if they accidentally put that on everybody's slips, then I get lots of phone calls. So I've put some jQuery in there to try and control that a little bit. But I agree that splitting it would be good because that would also reduce the chance that they put it on the OPAC instead of putting it on their slip accidentally. Definitely a good idea.
that can't be all we have to talk about.
No, I actually so we have on our front page of our OPAC right now, we have a notice, a news item, more news item things that says that we're quarantining Validate libraries, we're quarantining everything for a minimum of 48 hours before checking it in. It's also on all our holds notices and stuff. But we've gotten some complaints from patrons because, it shows as overdue in the system. And like if they sign into the OPAC while it's in quarantine, because we're quarantining everything before we check it in. And talking about maybe putting a notice on the patron. Here, wait, let me log in as one of our training accounts real quick. Yeah. About if it would be possible to add something like here for patrons that said, this is like messages added to the account here. But if there was something that we could add, maybe using jQuery or a news function so that it showed on the same as the account page, a note that like some overdue items may be in quarantine because we're quarantining everything.
And would that be a message to show to everybody, or just certain patrons who have things checked out?
Maybe just certain patrons. I mean, if we could do it to just patrons that had it checked out, that would be neat. Or had things overdue, would be even neater. But and I don't know if other libraries in Valnet want to do it. We can check if the patron is logged in, has the branch Moscow or one of the other branches in our district, so that it was just showing up for our patrons with jQuery. I know we could do that. But before I wrote a bunch of jQuery, I wasn't sure if there was something that I was totally missing, a way to do this without just adding like a message for every patron.
Of course, adding it for every patron would be super easy.
Yeah.
When they have overdue items, there's a separate tab for overdue items, right? So you could reference that if you just wanted it to show for people with overdues, maybe.
Yeah, you could just check to see if that overdue tab exists or not. And if it does, you could add the message.
This OPAC user overdues tab. Okay. Okay. So how would you, unless you were putting it in the tab, I guess you'd say,
I would say an if, kind of like that one right there on line 2.
that one.
Um,
So if, oh, here. You can't see what I'm typing over here. If, and then with that, let's see. Class is that area controls.
what you probably do too is if you click actually on the Overdue tab, you could do the list on the tabs, or you could get the overall the element that has everything inside of it, where it's overdue is 1 total, whatever
Oh
that.
yeah, like this.
Yeah, that's probably got an ID, I would
Yeah,
assume.
OPAC user overdues. Okay. So you could say if, and that's a divs or I haven't been doing much jQuery work lately. Okay. Like divs are pound symbol, right? Okay. So this one here, oh, we've got to put it in the one on line 2 there puts it if length is, it's checking like length. Do we need to check anything or just say if this?
I think if this would work, but I usually like length.
Because then it just does anything. Yeah. Since we're not setting, oh gosh, I can't type. And so then we could say if that length, then like up. Let's see. Somewhere like here-ish. What is all this in? That's just the main content. We could like prepend a message to main content.
User details, maybe.
Yeah. Where'd that go? Okay, then. Oh. Let's see. And okay, let me see what they wanted to put in there. It's just similar to what we had on the main page.
You probably want to prepend it kind of HTML element.
Oh yeah.
I would, if it were me, I would probably use you can use a bootstrap class like alert div class equals alert, and then you'll get the already styled alert box.
Okay, yeah. So
So
that would be, let's see. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, just the div.
not style, but class.
And that, let's see, that probably needs little
Yep.
things. Okay. Let's just. Yeah, so that works. Awesome. That's nice. There's other times you might want to do something like that. Like
just for me, I would double check with somebody who doesn't have overdues to make sure that isn't popping.
Yeah, here I will look at a different Frosty. That's all our training accounts. We name them like Frosty, whatever. Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Writing jQuery while everybody's watching is very bold.
And it's getting recorded. For more
is...
people to watch later.
I noticed we have I don't think Tasha's been here before. Someone new. Do you have anything you want to talk about, Tasha?
No, thank you. I'm just kind of lurking, thinking of becoming a member, and we're still evaluating Koha.
Cool.
I appreciate the live demo.
It's something I seem to get myself into a lot. Like I've done some SQL Live demos too, that even with pre-written, where I had done it already, and then something went wrong, like I printed out the wrong version or something to go off of. Yeah. Which was good troubleshooting. Here's how to troubleshoot when you're writing an SQL report and it doesn't work.
Troubleshooting under stress too. And
yeah. But then afterwards, everyone was like, "Oh, I'm really glad you messed up because all of George's things were like perfect, and yours was more like how I would do it." So
you know why George's things were perfect in that
because he set up
right?
macros.
He just copied and pasted everything and then undid it. Like it was all automated.
Yeah.
The wizardry.
You don't want to say how the magician does his tricks.
No, I do.
For
George, I want to expose him as much as I can.
Also, he told us during his presentation that was what he was doing.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair. So I think on that one he had actually written some like macros because that was for.
That was in Coeur d'Alene.
Because he made a comment about how he spent more time writing the things that would do the report, or that would like automate it for him, than actually doing the thing.
Yeah.
So, well, do you have any questions, Tasha, about Koha, especially users or web dev type questions?
No, it's hard to know. Like at this stage, it's hard to even know what my questions would be because we're coming from Millennium and it's so very different. But already, I said the live demo, but I meant like the real time sort of coding and troubleshooting. I already had, like an aha, or like as in that would be so much easier, to just put my jQuery in there than doing what we're doing now, which is, just having people would have to have access to the server and go in there, and we don't want them all doing that. So thank you. Yeah, I really, I'm sorry, I didn't quite know what this meeting would be, if it was web development or it's more like web software development, and is what it seemed like when you started talking about bugs, but then actually it morphed back into maybe a combination of both.
It tends to be very variable month to month.
We get
at least in this
tangents.
special case. But it's fun, and we'll talk about bugs. We'll talk about just little annoyances that often transition into writing up a bunch of bugs. We don't have quite the usual cast of characters we enjoy today. and a few of them are from Texas, so they're kind of under the snow or not working. But if there are more special interest groups. Have you visited any of the other meetings that
I just subscribed to the calendar like a couple days ago, so we'll see what else comes up, and hopefully it will work out, and then I'll be at future meetings.
All right.
And are you a standalone library or a multi-branch?
Just one.
I asked because on Tuesday we have the consortium meeting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have all kinds of meetings, so you're welcome to come to any and all of those. Koha-US is here to support this kind of general discussion. So
yeah,
if
We've
you have
got
more questions as you're coming up, definitely we can help answer those.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm walking on the treadmill, so sorry if I sound out of breath.
You do not.
No. Lizette and I have a leisure book club kind of koha-US group next week. So that one doesn't get recorded. And if you do want to ask us some questions off the record, we get a few librarians that use Koha from around the country that show up to that one. So you can ask away.
And at least a couple times we've ended up like looking up bugs or even getting in the general IRC and asking a question. Because I don't even remember how we got on that, but.
Oh, it was because we wanted to know like the usage of Koha, I think, on the African continent. And
oh, yeah.
Koha gives you the option through Heya of anonymously sharing both that you're using it and then what are some of the settings you've enabled. So if you are interested in looking at a certain locale and seeing which libraries are using Koha, are voluntarily reporting this information, and then what's of the many, many, many system preferences that Koha has that they're using, that's a cool way of kind of seeing what your peers are doing.
That's a really good tip. Thank you. May I ask a follow-up question on that? Where is it? I've seen those settings, but is there just a link on the Koha community site for how would I get to that data to see?
I just put a link in the chat.
Thanks.
To the it's got libraries up at the top and system preferences that you can select. And there's like a Sienna map. Huh. Now Valnet's not showing up on the map at all.
Oh no.
But apparently there's a law library in Pullman at one of the law offices that's on Koha, which I didn't know. I'm pretty sure it wasn't there last time that we looked. Huh.
Well, we can try and troubleshoot that whole I found that's not getting the representation it deserves.
Now I'm gonna fall down the map rabbit hole again.
Lizette, do you use the Hoopla plugin?
No, we don't have Hoopla.
No, Hoopla, okay. Nick got it working for me, which I'm excited, but I want to do some styling on the search link, so I was just gonna look for some examples. I know that George has some styling on it.
On the OPAC results page, is that the one you want?
Yeah, at the top of the search results, just to try and like emphasize it a little.
Let me see if I can. I know I've done that before, so I'm gonna see if I can find an example of that.
I will say that last month we talked about me burning down my system with the Cloud Library plugin. I did install it successfully. Nothing bad has happened yet. It just doesn't work yet. But I have a ticket open on that. I also haven't tried to pull in records with it yet. So
I'd say as a general rule of thumb, there has not been any observable phenomenon where installing a plugin does literally cause the server on which it's hosted to catch fire.
Yeah.
That is not a feature anyone has yet written into this software.
it'd be cool though. Some explosions.
All right, somebody's going to do the automatic coffee machine or toaster or bagel warmer or something. And let's get that done first so we've got a good precedent for thermal reactivity. And then we can have add, you know, like the flamethrower option.
Fine, suit yourself. This does look nice. I might steal that.
If you like it, I'm more than happy to share the CSS with you.
Sure, yeah. If you have it.
Which I don't know what is the easiest way to do so. Oh, you're in our Bywater Slack channel.
Yeah, you can just ping it to me. If is it a lot?
It's not. No, it's
Okay.
50 or something like that.
And then I can add it to the YouTube chat too for the video, so everybody can have it if they want it. Thank you. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask where the image was hosted. I see it's in your Bywater GitHub. Sweet. I guess this is sort of related. Do you know if it's possible to reference XSLT from GitHub? Like right now I have it on a web server that we have, but whenever the web server goes down, it trashes my search results. So I was looking for a more consistent place to put it. I know that we could just put it on the Koha server probably and reference it from there.
I think, yeah, again, I'm going to look for an example, but I think there's somebody with Bywater that does so and links it to a GitHub repo.
Okay, because I tried and I couldn't get it to work, so I'm not sure what the right URL is to use exactly.
Yeah, I think that if I remember trying to do this myself, it can be a little tricky. It's the same as like trying to host CSS or whatever on GitHub. You have to use GitHub Pages, maybe. I'm not.
Okay.
I shouldn't say anything because I don't actually know, so I'll shut up.
No, that's okay. That gives me an idea to play with. If you
Let me try to track down a partner site and see exactly what they're doing. I know there's somebody we have that does that.
Okay, it's no big deal if not. I mean, I'm hosting it at the external site, and it doesn't go down very often. But when it does, I get calls. My cataloger goes crazy because she's like, "Where'd all the search results go?" So anything to make that more static and stable would be good.
Yeah, that's pretty bad when that happens. It's like all of a sudden you have nothing on your results page.
It would be nice if it could fall back to the default rather than just blanking it out. I don't know if that's possible.
You're right. It would be nice. But I just don't think koha.net has any way of knowing that there's a problem with the style sheet.
Right. because it's just trying to read the blank. And I know I should probably just give up on my custom style sheets. It would be so much easier to use the default baseline. It's that demand from the catalogers, really. There are things that they want that probably no one else wants. So that's why we customize them.
Now that you can publicly access the Biblio's endpoint, though, there is the opportunity to, if there's certain mark fields you want to show in Koha, we can start to do so with JavaScript, which is a nice way to get off these custom sheets, especially if you're just doing it for maybe you have one mark field or something that you want to display that doesn't display on the default sheet.
I'm trying to remember. I don't mess with it very often. I know one of the things that they don't like is when the series information traces. So like if you have a 1 in the first indicator, then it'll trace to the information in the 800 field and display that. And they don't like that display. So I broke that in the style sheet so that it always just displays what's in the 490. And there are probably cleaner solutions to some of the things that I've done that with.
And theoretically, all that logic could be possible with JavaScript.
Right. What you were, yeah, like if we could just hide what the style sheet is pulling in and then re-display with jQuery what we want, that would work.
I know I've added a simple, like just if there's a 490 or something like that, add the series links to the OPEC results page with JavaScript. I can dig that up too and send that along to you as well. And
that would be awesome. Then I can see how it's done and start breaking things too.
At least when you break things with JavaScript, it's a little better than breaking the entire style sheet in XSL.
This is true.
May I ask a clarifying question? I'm not understanding what happened to your style sheet. Was it truly like a syntax error, or was it on an external server? I'm not understanding like why you lost it, because all of a sudden I'm worried like, oh no, is that going to happen to us?
So I host an external style sheet because I wanted to customize it. Koha has built-in defaults that most people use, and they're not going anywhere. They're not. They don't break at random, anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just my own personal customization that's breaking here.
Thank you for clarifying. Sorry, I missed that. In my situation, we would have to probably display another 10 to 20 fields. And I'm wondering if it might be better just to start with JavaScript from the start instead of fooling around with the templates, or maybe it's just either way.
I think that can really depend on which fields you're trying to display and what you're trying to do with them. The series ones are a little bit more complex to do via JavaScript, because not only do you need to display the information from the 490 or the 780 or wherever else series stuff comes from, but you also have to build a link to the others, so it links to the other things in those series. Those tend to be a little bit more complicated than, say, oh, I just want to display this piece of information in the whatever 505 field or something on the OPEC with no links or anything. So I guess it can really depend on which 10 pieces of mark data you're trying to display and where.
Okay, thanks for the tip. I wouldn't. I don't think I would have just gone straight to the templates.
The other problem with your custom XSLT style sheets is when the community makes updates fixes bugs within those style sheets, you don't get changes unless you add them yourself.
Yeah, I recently redid my details display in the staff client, and it was like enlightening all the changes that came through, because I just copied the one from the community and then re-added my custom code back in, and it's upkeep that I shouldn't really be wasting my time on, that I don't need to be wasting my time on.
Okay, this library in Pullman that I thought was a law library is like a personal library that someone made of their mostly religious texts that are like archival. They have in archive materials. It's really fascinating. You can learn all sorts of things when you just look at the map of Koha libraries.
And that map's not at all complete, right? It's just people who have opted into sharing their data.
Yeah, you have to elect to share it.
And also,
not
like,
dissimilar to Mana.
we've elected to share it, and you can find us on the list of libraries, but we're not on the map, which was what this whole thing was about, that we started talking about at the SIG.
Because it's what your addresses are in your libraries.
And we can't edit it for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're the same way. We're not on the map, but we're listed as on the list.
So it kind of seems like the sharing thing is not prepared to handle consortiums with a whole lot of different addresses.
Yeah. Because I'm not seeing any other consortiums, Pathfinders on there, but it just has one location listed. And
it seems like when they first introduced Heya, wasn't even the choice to say that you were a consortium or something, so we didn't opt in for a long time. So it's probably just like not a... Yeah, we're listed as a public library right now. It's just that structure's not there.
There still isn't a option for consortial. And there's like a dedicated admin page. Once again, taking us down this rabbit hole, but we don't have the ability to actually edit any of the addresses. It's locked.
Oh yeah, I was looking at that at one point.
And we don't know why. So.
Because I was gonna like update all their locations and stuff on the whatever it uses.
And here it says you don't have a public page, but there is a Valnet page. It's this one. So, yeah. Weird thing.
Yeah, mine's locked too. Strange. Oh, it's locked on the, like, you can't click in the box, but if you click on the map on the right, then it sets it into the locked box. And I just put a library in a random place that it shouldn't be, and I can't get it to go away now.
Wait, so if you click on here, let me.
So if you click on the little blue thing, oh, you don't have the map. Unless it's covered up. Oh, here, let me share my screen. I'll show you what I'm talking about. This one. Sorry, I lost it. So I've got this map here. You see it?
Yeah, I wonder
So when I
why.
click on, like, I clicked on Coffeeville, and then I put Coffeeville in the wrong place, and now I can't find them.
I wonder if we have like some jQuery or something that's messing that up.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you have any?
Here, I'll test on the test server because I can do that now so I don't turn off all my jQuery and have everybody freak out. It's not working right.
So
Yeah,
I wonder if we set that all up, if they'll show up on the big map on the website.
you could set it for just like one of them and then check tomorrow. I don't know how frequently that information is updated, I guess, but
It would be nice to just like copy and paste the accurate location in there though. Instead of searching the map for places I don't know. Let's see. I'm right there. All right, I did it. We'll see what happens. Again, we've gotten off on a tangent that's not really web devy, but it's still interesting and good to talk about.
yeah, I took all my jQuery out and it's still not showing here. And I'm guessing that's why Lewiston doesn't show up, is because yours were coordinates, Jason, when you were setting it on the map.
Yeah.
But this is just an address.
Yeah, it looks like it needs a latitude and longitude to work correctly.
But there is no map option for me. This is the jQuery is broken indicator on the test server.
It's very obnoxious.
Yeah,
Good work.
thanks. Especially when the regular right, because first I was just gonna comment everything out. Like this is so much nicer, this little test server. So, not sure what's going on there.
What you just did there, taking out your jQuery to test, I do that all the time, but it reminds me of this bug fix that 14004, which is going to be super handy, and I think has been backported to 2005.
Yeah, 200509.
Where you won't have to do that anymore. You'll just be able to append something to your URL, and it will turn off the Internet User JS, the OPAC User JS, same with CSS. Figured I'd mention that in this group.
Very handy. Let's see, we're on 200506 right now. And it looks like that got backported to 200509. But I'm looking forward to that when it comes.
Me too. do we have anything else? We're getting on an hour here.
I think I've exhausted my small collection of things I didn't write down.
Okay, I'm stopping the recording.